Holy sweet sugar. Ugh. Welcome to week 5, and there is nothing like a big hill ahead of you to tune into some of your thoughts. What is actually working? What's not working? What is just noise in the whole process? And what may simply be my own impatience? I want results now. They don't seem to be happening like that. This is what we're chatting about in week 5. We are talking about training. We're talking about food at the very end of the video, and we are talking about frustration, and we are bringing in some wisdom from the hills. If this is your first time dropping by, welcome. I'm Angela, and this is my channel, Lead Your Living, Your Wellness, Your Work, Your Leisure. This is a 10-week series, and we are halfway through. So if you haven't seen the other videos in this series, check them out. They're sitting there just waiting to be viewed. Let's kick it off with Sunday's long run. We are day 29, the first day of week 5, and it was my 16-kilometer slow run. So it's supposed to be zone 2 run. The run was good. It poured and rained all day. Spent the day pretty much waiting for the rain to stop. So I finally just said that I got to just go. Like, I'm going to have to go in the rain, which I do not like to do. I had rain the whole way, but not torrential. It was just kind of a light mist and no wind, which is an absolute treat. You can do a lot of thinking on these runs. I was about the 10-kilometer mark here, and I was really starting to think about how I'm approaching the whole zone 2 training in terms of what the experts recommend and how my own body is responding. I am not an expert. I am just trying to figure it out and share it along the way. If you've watched some of my earlier videos, I showed how I calculated my specific heart rate zones where I should be targeting. However, we're week 5 now, and so after several weeks of trying this and studying what the experts say, I'm starting to shift a little bit. I'm trying not to look at them as cement borders between the zones. I'm trying to look at them as flexible borders that you can kind of float into the different zones and back and forth. And so I did a little different with the heart zone thing. I tried to keep it low. I did the talk test. 130 is just, I think, too low for me. I don't know. Who am I to say that? I know there's lots of experts out there, but I do have to kind of go with what feels right to me. So I aimed more for 140 during this run, but I did do the talk test several times through the run. I had a phone conversation with my husband. I recorded a couple voice memos. This one's kind of a bad example because I'm going up a hill and my heart rate is definitely higher than it should be. But here's one of my talk tests going up this very steep hill. Okay, I'm feeling this hill. We're almost to the top. But one of the reasons I'm recording it is I'm trying to do my talk test. And my heart rate, oh, it's really up there. 151 right now. And so I am huffing it a bit. But I have this mental thing about quitting on a hill. And so I'm going to slow it down. But I'm not actually going to walk. I will when I get to the top. Thing I've always had about not quitting on a hill. Just like in life. Don't quit when it feels it's at its toughest. Unfortunately, that's the only talk test I actually recorded, and that's not a good one. I'm clearly higher heart rate there and out of breath, but I did several throughout the run. These conversations went, one was 3 minutes, one was 4 minutes, and I just did not feel short of breath and was not feeling tired. And at the end of the 16 kilometers was still not feeling tired. So it feels like the right slow pace for me. As per usual, I mismanaged or miscalculated my route, and so I'm still a kilometer away from home. But I thought I'd take advantage of the extra kilometer and walk to slow down my heart rate. Well, my feet are very, very wet. Oh, and cross-training day. I love this day. I go to a local exercise class, Synergy by Cindy Robichaux. It's awesome. She does a little bit of everything. There's a little bit of aerobic stuff. There's some yoga. There's stretches. There's Qigong. It's just a little bit of strength training. Just a little bit of everything. It is a great way to transition from long run day into the next day, day 31, which is steady run day at 5 kilometers. It is week 5 and we are day 31, the 5-kilometer steady run. It went pretty good and I again went late in the day. Now I didn't leave the house today until 3:30 in the afternoon for a number of reasons, mainly scheduling stuff and also weather. When I woke up this morning, as I showed you, very snowy outside on an April day, which is never a nice surprise. Anyway, the run went well. So steady run should stay in that zone 2 for that warm up. And then I can bump up into zone 3 for the majority of the run. And then cooling down towards the end of the run into zone 2 again. I don't think I stayed there. You can see along the bottom here, I'll post my numbers, but it felt good. I glanced at my watch a couple times and knew that I was a little higher than I wanted to be, but again, I try not to look at the pace, but I was looking at the pace, and I am. The closer we get to race day, I mean, we're 5 weeks out now. I am still a little anxious about that I'm losing my ability to go at a rapid pace. So we'll see how it all goes in the end. I know I've said that several times through these video sessions, but overall, it went pretty good. It was a little bit windy, but not too bad. And the snow stopped, so all was good. And actually, the snow was pretty much all melted by the time I headed out the doors. Another little mishap. I just rushed in the door, and I thought, okay, I'm going to get the supper, start the supper ready, because I'm not used to running at this time of the day. Anyway, I'm making ribs, spare ribs, and you know how brown sugar can harden? And I have it up in one of my higher cupboards. And anyway, I was putting it back up, and it came down and whacked me right on the cheek. And I'm hoping I'm not going to have a bruise here tomorrow. So that's why I shouldn't cook. Cooking can be dangerous. Be careful out there. Training day 32 brings on the hills. Oh boy, the sun is shining on an actual run day. So just back from 9 hills. It's cold, but the sun is shining. The runs went well. I kept an eye on the heart rate, but I looked at it maybe a total of 5 times. And in the run up to the hill, again, about 3 kilometers. When I arrived at the hill, the rocks were still all in a line from last week. So I started my hills and the counting began. First hill number 2, done. That's hill number 3. Hill number 4 done. Next hill done. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 done. One more done. That's okay. That's it. Number 9. I was very happy to see the end of the row there. And then the cool down run home, I went slow. I even brought my shadow along for a little company. I'm going to just sit here and have some raspberries, drink my tea, have a little after 8. I actually think I'll have the after 8 first. Oh, yeah. Thursday is training day 33. Day 33. Yes, here we are. 7-kilometer race pace. I'd like to be around the 6-minute mark, but I haven't been able to do that yet, so we'll see how the day goes. Okay, just back from my 7-kilometer race pace, and I'm very cranky. I felt like I was giving it a full-on effort, like a big effort. I was huffing and puffing. I did start for about the first half kilometer, 3/4 of a kilometer. I went at a very slow pace, but then I tried to gradually increase, and I was going what I felt like was my regular pace that I would go if I was running a race. Race pace 7K. I'm about halfway, and I am huffing it. Like it's a full-on effort for me, and I'm totally discouraged because I've glanced at my watch a couple times, and I'm like 7:15 pace, 6:30 pace. Another time it said pace 6:45. Like, what the heck? I was so discouraged. Now, I haven't looked at it, and I deliberately didn't look at my watch until I started the video here, because I don't know. I was so cranky to start with. And then I just thought, well, it is what it is. And I wanted to share this with you guys. And I got to tell you, so doing this video journaling is I'm still learning the whole YouTube thing, and so I'm not very good at it, so I'm slow at it. I think about the viewers a lot on my run, and so I just wanted to say I'm really grateful for you tuning in, and I appreciate it. So that's one of the reason, all that rambling to get me to my point, is I didn't look at the results before coming on here, so I wanted us to see it together. So holy sweet sugar. Ugh. Okay, so the distance was exactly 7 kilometers. It took me 47 minutes and 44 seconds. What the heck? My pace was 6:49. Oh my goodness, that is very discouraging. Very discouraging. Average heart rate, oh, it went off. I think it said 162. Okay. I have some thinking to do. This might be, with the exception of my long run in week 3, this might be my most discouraging moment yet. The run is going fine. I mean, look at the sky. Oh, well, let me show you over here. There's blue sky over there. So, perfect weather, no wind, and I'm at a 7:15 pace. Yeah, that's not what I thought. It felt fast. And even when I looked at my watch as I was going and I saw those slow paces, I thought, oh, maybe my watch is just not keeping up with me. But that time that was there, 47 minutes, whatever it is, that's slow. That 7 kilometers should have taken me 42 minutes, 43 at the most. So that's pretty discouraging. I got to think about this. I'll have some reflection to do today. So let me just try and turn around. I always hate leaving things the same, even in the years when I was working as a leader in the health system, when things would go off the rails and bad stuff would happen. I always go back to, okay, what's my goal? And is there anything good we can pull out of it? So my goal with this is to run smarter, stay healthy, and run for more years in my life, and to be injury free. And so the low heart rate was a way to do that. My goal was to share the experience, and I'm definitely doing that. And although I've said the goal wasn't about the pace, I'm having a hard time not thinking about the pace, in all honesty. And so that's the part that's discouraging to me. But if the goal is to run healthy, run better, run smarter, all of that, maybe not run faster, but all of those other things, maybe it will come together and eventually run faster. Probably not in time for this half marathon race, because now is it 5 weeks out? So not thinking a lot will change between now and then, but one doesn't know. But there's still a lot of good about the day. So that was a good reminder. A beautiful sunny day. It does feel good to be really tired at the end of a run. I haven't had this feeling in a long time. Like, I really felt like it was a full effort. Maybe the data doesn't show that, but I did feel like it was a full effort. I ran hard and I was huffing and puffing and I was tired when I finished. And that's usually how I'd finish every run. And so it's been a while since I felt like that. So that's good. That kind of had a good feeling. No wind, blue sky. And that's why I thought I was flying. Like, I really felt like I was running fast. I didn't stop, other than I stopped a couple times to walk, just to thought maybe if I can get myself caught up, with my breathing and heart rate, then I might be able to go stronger. So I took maybe 2 walk breaks. But other than that, this is a true pace. The snow stopped, no rain. Lots to be thankful for. And the other thing, I was listening to a podcast about leadership just as I hit my watch to shut it off, and I got to the 7 kilometer mark. The speakers, the podcast host and her guest speaker were chatting, and the guest said, life is not a sprint. Like it maybe have a bunch of little sprints, but you absolutely need to take time to recover and reflect. And I thought, oh my God, is he watching me? Like those words could not be better words for me to hear at that moment than any other thing. And it wasn't a podcast about running. So maybe that's just what I have to do. Take some time to recover. Tomorrow's a rest day. I need to rest and reflect and back at it on Saturday. Training day 34 is a rest day. So this is Friday, rest day, and headed out with my camera and I stopped at the library to get some books to start reading. And then was hoping to chase some birds, and so it's a lovely day. And here I sit on the side of the road waiting for CAA. It all worked out great. CAA sent the tow track. It arrived with this sweet guy who used to go to school and play hockey with my son, so had a great chat. He fixed my tire, and we were on our way again. Training day 35, had to do a little switcheroo with the schedule. Okay, here we are. Oh, I probably shouldn't have taken that off. I can just imagine what things are looking like up here. Okay, don't judge. I'm just back from my 12-kilometer long run. It's supposed to be my long run for week 6, but I had to do some switching with the schedule, and today is actually the last day of week 5. It was supposed to be a 5K slow run, but I did my long run just because the weather forecast for tomorrow is not looking good. And quite honestly, I am getting a little tired of running in wind, rain, and snow. So today was beautiful. I had a little bit of hail, but nothing. It was nothing. And no wind. It was beautiful. It was calm. I think I'm still recovering from the trauma of my 7-kilometer run earlier this week at race pace. And it was so freaking slow, even though I thought it was an all-out effort. So I'm still struggling a little bit with that. But as a result of that, I was trying to learn a little bit more. And so I've been reading all kinds of information. Quite honestly, I'm feeling a little overwhelmed by all the expert advice. So I've sifted through a lot of the expert advice. And I also have to remember, I know myself and I know my running and I know my habits for the last 25 years. Doesn't mean they're right, but I know how I'm feeling when I'm running. So, but having said that, the whole zone 2 low heart rate training or low heart rate running is completely new to me. As I've said in my other videos, this is the first time I'm trying this. So curious to see what the outcome will be. So today when I went for my long run, and it was only 12 kilometers in the schedule, I've been following the same 16-week schedule for half marathons. I think it's the only schedule I've ever used. It may be time to change that up a little bit, but regardless, I'm following the same schedule I've always used, except for the fact that I started 6 weeks late. And so I converted that 16-week schedule into a 10-week schedule. Well, those first few weeks of your training program, you're starting to build the distance in your long runs. It gets further and further or longer and longer every week for your long run. But on this particular week, it bounces back. And so the last 2 weeks, I think, were 16 kilometers each. So this long run this week was 12 kilometers. It never really made a whole lot of sense. I thought, well, maybe just to give you the muscles and the legs in your body a little bit of a break. But I think the true benefit of it is the mental break and the little lift it gives you to your emotional wellness or your mental wellness. Because after you've been doing those longer distance, 12 kilometers doesn't sound like much. And it didn't feel like much. So I went out with a different mindset. I was actually kind of excited to go with it. And I was not going to again, stay focused on the heart rate. All of this researching that I've done and reading and listening to all of the expert advice out there, there's a lot of convincing evidence that says, look, don't get so hung up on the heart rate numbers. Yes, you need to use them. They're your guideposts and should kind of guide you along as you need them. But there are other ways that you can tell that you're at zone 2 or at that low heart rate training. And that is the talk test and nose breathing. And so if you can talk comfortably, fairly comfortably, the person listening to you or hearing you should be able to tell that you're sounding a little out of breath, but you should be able to carry on a conversation fairly easily. So I decided today when I was going to go, I wasn't going to focus on the heart rate. I was going to do the talk test a couple times throughout the run. And then the other thing for me is for nose breathing. If you've someone who has incorporated nose breathing into your running, and I have, it's been over 2 years now, and you should be able to breathe in and out through your nose entirely, mouth closed, in and out through your nose at zone 1 and 2 without issue. And so that to me is a really good standard test for me to see if I'm in that zone 2 heart rate zone, or effort zone, I should call it. And so today that's what I did. I had no issues breathing in and out through my nose. I did it the whole time without any issue. I did have my nose strip on, but I routinely wear that now for all long runs just because of my chronic congestion issues and allergies or sinus issues. And I did a 5-minute talk test that I video recorded. So I'll play part of it so you can listen to it and see how out of breath I sound. Don't worry, I won't make you listen to the full 5 minutes. And so I'm just going to record as I go here because I'm going to do a little talk test. So today I decided I'm not going to check my heart rate, but the other indicators I'm going to check in. Okay, so that's 5 minutes of talking and I'm feeling okay. So for this run anyway, that's what I'm going to use as my barometer. I'm at 6 minutes that I've been talking, so I think that's a good enough test. Oh my goodness, I should have gotten my readers. Average heart rate is 145 beats per minute. So interesting. Yeah, I mean, that is higher. I knew it would be higher because I could tell I was going a little bit faster, but it was comfortable. And I wish I had more time. Maybe in hindsight, it wasn't great to start 6 weeks late and start this low heart rate training for the first time ever in preparation for a race. Probably better to have tried this in the off season, but it is what it is. Race day is 5 weeks away. Let's talk about food. Okay, I'm a little nervous to talk about what food I eat. Food is very personal. The other reason that I'm a little nervous talking about food is because this is not an area I know a lot about in terms of nourishing your body, specifically for fitness and for running and for training. Because I don't know a lot about it, I try to just keep it simple. Just to give you an idea what I'm eating during this training period, I'm thinking of protein, carbohydrates, and healthy fats. The protein for muscle repair and recovery, which is essential for helping to recover after hard workouts. And so I try to get a lot of Greek yogurt, nuts, hard-boiled eggs, lean meat such as fish, lean meat such as chicken, and fish are great sources of protein. Then for carbs, sweet potatoes, oats, brown rice, quinoa, fruits and vegetable. All great sources for supplying energy, both long-term energy and long-term or sustained energy and short bursts of energy. Then there are the healthy fats, those things that are really important for hormone support, joint health, and again, sustained energy. And so I look to try and fill some of my parts of my diet with avocados, olive oil, again, nuts, seeds, salmon, the fatty fish, salmon, tuna, and also dark chocolate. Just like those after eights. Okay, here are some of my meals this week. Some pork ribs there at the beginning. It is a good source of protein, but bad source of, or a source of the bad fat. Baked potatoes, and we get lots of broccoli, vegetables, and sauerkraut and basmati. And then on the side, there's some Greek yogurt with some berries on top. So I actually keep forgetting to take pictures of what I'm eating, but here are a few more. So mango and berries for a snack or breakfast. I can't remember what that was, but a power bowl there in the middle with some salmon and quinoa and spinach and all kinds of good stuff in there. And then just a mixed salad with baby spinach up above. So I'm trying and I'm still learning. Now, do not let me mislead you. And I know some of the nutrition. I don't always do it. For instance, I have a big glass of red wine every Friday night, sometimes two if it's a really exciting night. And then I could easily scoff down a bag of chips. So, as I said, I'm a work in progress. And it's late in the day, so I can probably have like 2 of these at least. Tell me your best nutrition tip down below. So that was week 5. It had a lot wrapped up in it. We had a little bit of overwhelm with all the expert advice, a very frustrating race pace run, but I ended the week with a great long run. This is a journey. And I'm learning that I'm not just training my body, I am training my patience too. Some advice works, some advice doesn't, and it's just up to us to find out what works best for our unique situation. If you are training for a half marathon, a marathon, or any other training race, if you're on your own training journey, remember, you are the expert on you. Keep showing up, keep listening in, and trust that you're learning more than just how to run. Thank you for being here, and thank you for tuning in. If this resonated with you at all or helped you in any way, please give me a like, a comment, and or subscribe. Would love to hear from you. Week 6 video will drop next Wednesday at midnight. I hope to see you there. Whew. This is why it's good not to look at yourself during a run. Thanks for joining me, and I really do mean it when I say that I am so grateful for every single one of you that views this video.